Hello, everyone. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe, where today we are discussing the formula for success. Yes, there is a formula. I don't know that it's such a secret formula, but there is a formula. And it really is in formulaic form. And it's from or stated by Jack Mates, currently deceased, but he was the CEO of Velcro USA. And the formula that he shared, and this one is missing one small piece, is P plus T multiplied by A equals success. Okay, so let's break that down. I'll put this into the Q question format so I can put it up on the screen. We're going to hope that works. Like a context for living one's life. Now, context for finding your life's purpose. A little bit different. So P. We're all familiar with everybody telling us we need to find our passion. We need to only work with our passion. Well, what the heck is passion? Right? What is that desire? What is that strong emotional attachment? Well, the way Jack puts it, and others, is what makes your heart sing? What lights you up when it's being done? Well, that's the best way I can describe it. I can tell you what happens with me. So I get a big charge out of watching somebody learn a new skill and get it. Now, it doesn't mean that they get it in its entirety, because sometimes, well, every time you learn a new skill, it takes practice to perfect it and to master it. But it's the learning part, their struggle. And as a trainer, hence one of the reasons I train people to do things, as a trainer, I walk people through learning a new skill. Application. Let's put it to use. This is what it looks like. Follow me. Let's do this. Why don't you try this? A correction along the way. Coaches do this with their athletes to improve their performance. Developers do this with their coding to develop their own signature coding, right? There are some codes out there you can read and you know who wrote it. But also to refine it and to get better at it quicker, to make sure that they're taking the right steps in the code that they're creating. Again, learning something new, right? So for me, what makes my heart sing, what triggers you will light up my face, is when I see somebody intently learning something and suddenly you just see this whole light bulb go off. I can see it in their eyes. I can see it in their posture. I can see it in the exclamation sometimes of, I get it. I get it. Well, when I see that, trust me, my first words are, now go do it. Now. So when I do live workshops, that's exactly what happens. Whether it is in person, in a classroom setting, which I've done, it is in person in a hotel, during national conferences when I've done workshops. Everybody's hands-on doing, right? And what will happen is, I don't care if there's 5 people or 50, there will always be 1 or 2 that get it before everybody else. And I see it. They oftentimes won't exclaim, but I see it. And that's when I'll be walking through the room and I'll say, put it to use now. And they look at me as, well, wait a minute. No, you can put it to use, because what I train on, you can put it to use right now. Open another browser, go, do it now. This isn't where you just sit and wait and, oh, I learned and I get to do this tomorrow. Now. So that will light me up. and I'm charged up and I'm ready to hear the rest of them. And then there will always be one or two that are really struggling. That's what I'm there for. So my passion is actually based in knowing that knowledge and education is the foundation for making anything grow, be that your mind, your heart, and your business. Knowledge and education. Don't have that, there's nothing to take action on. There's nothing to grow from. There's no route to go, right? That's where all of this lies. And hence, what makes my heart sing is the training. There are other things that make my heart sing, and they are a part of the business that I currently have. Training is one of them. Walter, you are welcome to mention me in your blog. Tweet me, DM me, and we can talk about, what I would like is if you could link back to my website. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. So, passion. What makes your heart sing? I want you to think about that for a second and feel free to jump in the seat and share how you found it. If you know what it is, or if you're still searching, if it makes any sense to you at all, feel free. So that's the P of the success formula. All right. Now, you have passion. You have figured out what makes your heart sing. There you sit. Anybody ever sat there? I have. There was a time when I would have, and this is still a passion of mine, and it'll make sense to you as soon as I say it. I love to read. Have since I was young. I learned to read when I was like maybe 2 years old, not quite 3. And I gobble up words. I love to read. I come from a family of readers, not kidding. We're sitting, as kids, eating cereal before school. And if there isn't a magazine, newspaper, or book on the table, all 3 of we kids are reading the cereal boxes. That is how much we love to read. I love to read. And there I sat, people, so much so that when somebody told me that, well, you just find your passion and that's what you do, all I could think about was, well, I love to read. How in the world can I make money reading? Today, I still read, but I know that the reason I love to read is because I love knowing things. And I know the value of that information turned into knowledge. So there was a way to turn it into a business. Now what? Well, so we've got our passion. That's our P. What we do now is we combine it with our T. So P plus T, passion plus talent. Because you see, passion by itself isn't going to do diddly squat. Really, it's great that you're passionate about something, but there has to be more to it, and this is the more. So talent, something you excel in, something that you're naturally drawn to, something that it's kind of easy for you, right? You've always been told you have a talent for this. How can that fit in with your passion? How can you find out what you're talented in? Honestly, my thought is, what is it that you're really good at naturally? And list them. Don't get stuck on just one because it's your favorite. But list them. And I say that because I have a natural gift and talent to play musical instruments, except percussion and some string. But it's, guitar, mandolin. I just really, banjo, not interested in spending too much time, and they just don't interest me. The others, though, woodwinds, on violin, on cello, and bass. Bass was tough because I didn't have very strong fingers. brass, love the trombone, baritone, all of that, right? So that's a talent. And I excelled in those, piano especially. I excelled in those. But it didn't make my heart sing to play for other people. So when we write down what talents do we have, we're figuring out, well, what makes my heart sing? And then let's list all the talents. And in there are going to be a couple that actually align well with what makes your heart sing. May not be able to see it in its entirety, but if it's something that you're really, really good at doing, make sure that's at the top. All right, now what? So now we have the passion, and we've put it with our talent. And I'm going to put up the first A because that's all you've got at this point. You got something that's making your heart sing, something that gets you excited, something that lights you on fire, something that says, this is so gosh darn fun or awesome, or I could do this and nobody would have to pay me. How's that for passion? I would do this. Are you inclined to volunteer? All right, so you've got that. Now you've got something that you excel in, that talent. Now let's take the first A and multiply those two by finding the right association. A is association, and it's the association with people, or associations and organizations, but more importantly, it's associating yourself with those who are successful in their own endeavors. So whatever industry, whatever business, whatever hobby, whatever skill set you're trying to narrow down for yourself, you must associate yourself with people who are successfully utilizing it or putting it to use, or successful people. Right? You must associate yourself with them. Can you figure out why? Well, if you are, well, I was talking about this with somebody the other day. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ever heard the term, I can judge you by your friends? It's not that you're, if you are always, tell you what it is that peer pressure has a strong impact. And those I associate with have an effect on how I think, feel, and believe, quite honestly, and how I behave. And I'm either going to grow or I'm going to go backwards. So this is what this means, association, whether it's professional association or personal. Could be your family is awesome, could be they're not. But these are all things we have to take a look at. So we're going to take that. We've got our passion plus our talent. Now we're multiplying that by our association with people, organizations. And then we multiply that with the last A, which is action. And that's taking concrete steps toward your goal. Because by this time, if you've identified what makes your heart sing, what you're willing to do and not get paid for, you've identified a talent you excel in that works with your passion, you're associating yourself with successful people. By now, there's a plan that's beginning to form. There's a goal that is in place. It has to happen that way. You cannot sit in a vacuum and just think like this. You're associating with people. It's amazing that this happens this way. And this is one of those times where I think it's important to remember to trust the process. It's important to remember that you don't know, and it's okay. If you're just beginning the road toward identifying what you're going to do, what's your life's purpose, what's your chief aim, what's the point of going to work every day. So this isn't just for owning your own business. This is for you in your life and elsewhere. Everything it encompasses it. How's that? Personal relationships, because it has an effect on that. Success in a career that you've selected, whatever that looks like. You're the one that determines what success actually looks like. Success being the end goal. What does it really look like? Well, here's the formula to get there. And what happens is that through this activity, you find your life's purpose. And the reason I'm sharing all of this today and thought it would be a good one to talk about is because when I look back, this is what happened with me. I didn't come up with my real life purpose until midway, early, maybe I'm going to say first quarter of 2015. I mean, really be able to define it. You know, I thought I was on it. I had an inkling of what it was in 2014. I was guided towards things related to training and research and all that since the beginning of my business. But if you had asked me, what's my life's purpose? I would not have told you what I can tell you today, which is to help people think for themselves, to make decisions based on what they know, not what they feel, and to understand that as an individual, they can have the knowledge to move forward with whatever it is they want to move forward with. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? I have a secondary one. It's private, and I work closely with people in a sector that need my experience and attention, and I provide that with them. And so I have two lives, but it's just, but even that falls under the knowing, the knowledge, and hence the name Grow Because You Know. So it all makes sense now, right? I slowly got to that point. Honest to goodness, I've been in business for 8 years, doing okay. So it's evolved. And it's evolved because of this formula. I invite anybody who wants to jump in. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it, because there's one component that can be added to this formula. It's not a variable. So come on in and say, hey. And does this make sense to you? How's that? Would love to know if it makes sense to you. So, people used to tell me a lot of things, and they just never made sense. I am one person, and I understand this out of others too, that I only do things when it makes sense for me to do them. I have to sometimes think on things, sometimes too long. It's how I work. And what was interesting to me is when I first started my business, I was rock solid sure. This is what I wanted to do, provide research for the business community. Rock solid. Then I was introduced to training more formally than what I'd been doing since the 80s. Meaning I'd never called myself a trainer, and I wasn't getting paid specifically as a trainer. And yet I did it all the time. I was always the one that would see somebody struggle, jump in and say, hey, if you need some help, happy to show you a different way, better way, or the way to get this done. One of the jobs that I had, the favorite job when I was a field engineer, actually, I was approached by somebody out of the executive suite, and they asked me if I wanted to be a trainer with the company. I jumped all over it, jumped all over it. And as we were setting things up for that, the company took away that job. Nobody in the company, they just phased them out as trainers. And so the opportunity was there, and then it was gone. Today, I'm a trainer in specific things. But it evolved, right? It moved forward. I guess if I'd had this earlier, I don't know that I would have started my business any earlier. There are a lot of things involved in starting a business, a lot of emotional readiness, right? A lot of mental readiness. And I wasn't ready until '08. Therefore, that's when I did it. Let's get Will in here. now fancy yourself up with the new the new intro. Good morning, Will.
Good morning.
How is that coming into Blab now?
What's that?
Well, check yourself in your webcam, make sure your mic works.
Is my mic on? No sound?
No. When you first called in.
Oh.
Which camera
Good morning,
are you
Walter.
using? Anyway, good morning.
So
Will.
I did have the urge to talk about all that, but I wanted to stay on topic.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Because I do that every time I come into your Blab. I'm like, oh, I'm using this system and this mic. And this is how it's all working. There's nothing to do with what you're talking about. But let me know if it is buzzing, and I'll try to make sure. Is it
Not
clear?
a problem. So
awesome.
far, so good.
I think this is an awesome topic. I've been enjoying it so much. I was in the middle of my workout, and I had to hurry up and wash the dishes. It's part of my morning routine, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I'm listening to you, and I'm like, oh, these are such great points, and
you like them, huh?
I love them. And I was actually, writing my responses down to those steps that you were talking about, and helping me. I always love to continually clarify what I do and why I do it, and really hone in on, because, we talked about this before. I think, knowledge is power if it's applied towards a specific purpose.
Correct.
Right. And, so once you have that clear about what you're working towards, and then this, conversations like this help you to even refine that and focus that energy even more. So I was listening, and I was just so excited, and I started writing down what I'm passionate about, and and just found another way to say it, and so I'll share that with you.
Yes, please. Especially if you found another way to say it. Refining, clarifying.
Yeah, because when you were talking about your, what you went through in your childhood and your process as far as where you came to where you are now, a lot of times I think about why I do what I do and how I come to this place. And then I want to use that explanation when I'm talking to somebody, which doesn't work because it's going to take me like an hour, for me to tell you the story. But the point of the story is where I'm at now, right? And why I'm doing it. So I would say that. So this is what I wrote down. What I'm passionate about is shifting elevated awareness into transformative action. Meaning, so that's basically what I do in a whole nutshell. First, I elevate your awareness. Okay, about like in this, and you're doing it right now. So you're elevating people's awareness about what makes their heart sing, what they're passionate about, and then you're connecting that to what I like to say here is transformative action. Because a lot of times people become aware of stuff or they get good inspiration, but they don't take action. It's not until you start to take action behind it that transformation really takes place.
Okay.
Because then it's just a mental idea that kind of comes and goes. And I think we're constantly reminded of what actually inspires us until we start to take action, until we actually start to, what I like to call move in cooperation with the universe and start doing what is really in our heart to do, and transformative action. So that's what I like to do. I like to elevate that awareness, get you reconnected to what you are passionate about, and then create a system of transformative action to actually start to take that awareness and put it into action, which brings the last key there, creating results or creating a new world for yourself and for others. Because every time that transformative action is going to change your world, and by default, it's going to change the world of everyone that's connected to you. And so that's where I like to see it, and where I'm at now, like right now, I'm really focused on helping individuals change the world. But in my long view, it's also allowing them the empowerment to be able to start thinking about changing the world on a grander scale.
Nice. Pretty concise, too. I mean, really, because what you're describing is pretty complicated. This isn't simple stuff, right? Nor is it easy stuff. It's pretty complicated. So let me see if I heard you correctly, that your passion is working with people and individuals, working with individuals to elevate their awareness of what they are passionate about so that they can find their purpose, to guide them through a transformative action where you are helping them after identification of that passion, of the desire, of the purpose, of what it looks like, and bringing them, now it's awareness, now let's put it into action, with the intention of creating results from that action.
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it.
I love it when you get it right. I get an A. I love it when you get an A. Hey, cool. Cool. So all of this then made sense to you when you were.
Oh, yes.
So that's your passion, right? You've just identified your passion. And I can't go backwards in my
your notes there.
No, I can't. It knocks it out. Yay, welcome to Blab. So now the question comes, if you are willing to answer this question, you've got your passion. In order for it to be something that you can really have results from and to ultimately find your life's purpose, you must combine it with the talent. What's your key? Something that you excel in. Were you able to identify that?
Yes, that actually goes back to, like we were talking about, just seeing how I interacted with life in the past and people. Like I really can do that. Shifting awareness and and actually I did it yesterday with my dad. He's talking about something he's passionate about, and I just mentioned one thing that completely shifted his perspective, and now he's ready to take action to actually changing, because it's a problem that he continually talks about in the world, and especially since I'm really into this studying about coaching and whatnot, I was like, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you say this again and again. You're going to have to start focusing on the solution that you want to provide, and that really just created a whole shift in him. It's like, yeah, that's where all this energy should be going. Because you're not making any change by talking about the problem. So anyway, the point I'm getting at is I am good at elevating people's awareness. So that's what I noticed that I have a talent at doing. Is really making people aware of something either in themselves or just another way to look at their issues or their problems or what they're working at in a different way.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for a long time in almost everything that I do, right? From community work or just my friends, talking to them about whatever they're working on. And so that's where I got into, I'm really enjoying the coaching study and practice, is that then now from there to action, right? What are you going to do to anchor this into reality and actually cause that shift in your reality, not just in your mind?
So in your experience then, having identified the passion and the talent that makes it happen, that makes sense to work with the passion, were you able to associate yourself with successful people? Did you do that before you started? So that was the next.
That's why I love. I've been loving this because I'm like, I did that, and now I'm kind of at the last step of your formula there, because I started a couple months ago where I just went and sought out the people who are the best at this. The best, like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, people who are the best at causing that shift, from inspiration to action, and had a system. So I started studying their system, studying the way they get everyone inspired, and then they give them a plan of action to actually follow through with. And that's where I got into coaching, because a lot of people, they do seminars, and then it's kind of the person is kind of left to their own devices to kind of work it out, But what I noticed is one of the keys to sustainability, so to speak, in that transformation is a community. Like you say, is this association? So a coach allows that association, because you're continually reinforced with that positive influence and action steps. And then the other one, which is where I'm developing a program now, which is
hold on, wait a second. You got that part?
Yes.
All right, now we're into the action, the A for the action. Okay, now please move forward. Now you're into steps, right? Now you're into the taking action on it. Right.
And so the first thing, I know is that you gotta follow your own teaching, right? You gotta follow your own system. If I'm saying it, then I gotta practice it myself, So first of all is doing that, like you said, creating those associations. You're one of those associations for me, of positive people and who are effective at it. And then I have, other people in my world now, and I did that intentionally. And then, like I said, creating my own unique understanding of it as well, because when I say understanding of creating a system, right? Because first I associated with coaches and other people who are good at it, and I've learned their system. But, you got to be yourself, and be able to communicate from your truth, So it's like, I think it's a little bit more than just regurgitating information. It's taking it and focusing it into, something that, because we were talking about yesterday on Brian's Blab about enthusiasm, right? Mm-hmm. And to really, it's something that it comes from you, and it affects other people, and it draws other people in, If I can be excited about what someone else is saying, but until it really anchors into my spirit, so to speak, and I, talk from my place of understanding, that's what really connects with people. And so I'm just saying all that to say, yes, I did take some steps to follow my own system and create my own system, right? But it's, like I said, it's founded in wisdom of the ages, so it's not like I'm making stuff up. However, it is founded on my personal experience and practice of it. And so that's what I encourage, and I coach other people to do the same. And then it's like really focusing on the results, focus on the result, because you're already connected to your passion, right? You're doing this because you love it. And now you can focus on the result and the system that's going to get you there the fastest. I'm
in full agreement. I mean, we were talking, so Will and I were having a private conversation, on a video conference, and we're working on something together, and I went and checked my email, and he saw how my heart sings. Yes. I was like, what happened? He saw the hot dog, got another one. Somebody signed up for and paid for, that's the key, paid for workshop. And I'm excited. I'm excited that there's a little money coming through, is revenue generating, but I'm more excited because I know what they're going to learn. Honestly, that's what went through my mind. Yes, somebody paid for it. Yes. Look who I get to teach. Awesome. Yeah, it makes my heart sing. It's good stuff. Yeah, and I want to, I have a friend in here, and I was looking at his site, and I was like, wow, this guy knows a lot of stuff, and he can really be effective. And in my mind, I can't wait till I talk to him again, because in my mind, I'm like, wow, this, he has so much potential, and can begin generating revenue very quickly, and so I really see that, and I'm excited about that, and I want to help draw that out, and that I think that's really where enthusiasm is hearted in that, or sourced from you, is really in that, oh man, this is going to be great for you, and you really know it's going to be great. Yes, that is it exactly. I think you just nailed it. So when we have that enthusiasm, because it's based on through this process you and I just walked through, we're both at the point, honestly, I'm successful. I'm a rousing success, especially when I compare myself to myself over the past 8 years. I can see the growth in all aspects of who I am in my business. And yes, in the financial rewards as well. And you are doing the same thing. And you're at the point where you're going to be able to look at all those steps along the way and the changes you have made. And I was going something really, really cool with that. I mean, it was really cool. I know where I was going to go. So when you were saying that you're seeing the potential in somebody else, I think now is a really good time to point out that seeking guidance from outsiders is an excellent idea. I mean, there's worksheets and workbooks and all kinds of different things you can do on your own. But what happened with me was I got stuck on my talents, you know, what I was really passionate about and what I'm really good at. I couldn't make the connection of how you could make money.
I think my computer's crashing, but I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, because you're out of sync and yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
I couldn't really. I knew I wanted to do business research. I knew I wanted to find information for people. Wasn't quite sure what that looked like. And I had a gal, an older woman who is just now this past year retired from her own business, and she actually helped me to figure out, well, you can make money at that. Not quite sure what that looks like, but you can. There are people that do that. So that's when I sought out a professional association of information professionals. Hello, and I joined, right? And then I started learning while I was there, and you know, it again, it was outside people that helped me. So I've got to tell you, it is we're doing a blab thing again. Can't see Christian or Will. Can't see you, my dear.
Okay, I'll be back.
I can hear you.
I'll be back.
I can hear you, but I can't see
Yeah,
you.
I'm putting too much on this system.
Okay.
I'll be back later.
And so again, the process is there. Trust the process. If I'd had somebody who, you know, I'm really seriously thinking this through. If I had somebody who, you know, put this into the format that I'm doing it right now, I know me. I would have clicked on a few things. Not all of it. I wouldn't have grasped all of it, but I would have clicked on a few things. But it didn't. Or it may have been in front of me and I wasn't ready to see it. Because as I said earlier, I'm the type that I only do things when I'm ready. It has to make sense to me. I don't jump in when it doesn't make sense for me to jump in. And ultimately, it's because I know that I'm going to be responsible for the consequences of my jumping in. So anybody else want to do a quick drop in? I'm telling you that I'm going to have to shut down the room in another 8 minutes or so. I have the morning networking meeting. Have a fantastic presenter today at the top of the hour, Tina Dietz. She is going to talk about how you can leverage the revolution in audio for your business. Yes, podcasting, audio books, other audios. Doesn't have to be video. Yes, video rules. Not really. Not always. Hello, Nathan. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
How are you?
Cold, but other than that, I'm fine.
You're not in an area that you get cold.
Yes, I am. It
Okay.
gets quite cold down here, but not as cold as where you live.
Okay.
But there's something you need to know. We don't have central heating, and in Mexico, like the idea of central heating or base heaters are a foreign concept. They don't have them. Yeah. You have to go out and buy a heater. This house, it does have heaters, but they're the worst heaters I have ever encountered in my life. You turn them on and this tiny trickle of warm air comes in. Not hot, warm, barely warm. It's like, ah! So I'm wearing multiple layers to deal with that.
Okay.
I go to bed like this too, which sounds a
I
bit weird, but you
understand.
have to keep warm.
Yeah, I get it. I take it there are no fireplaces or fire
Well,
pits to.
there's a fireplace, but even if I used it, all the heat goes straight up the chimney. So why bother?
Hmm.
Yes, it's
Okay.
one of those. Anyway,
So, what do you think of the success formula?
I wasn't paying terribly much attention. I mean, I heard the guy who calls himself Sue Will. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
Will.
remember his Will.
His
Okay,
name's Will.
I know
Yeah.
him. I've seen him many times before on other blabs.
Yeah.
Success formula. I mean, there's so many success formulas. Which one are we
Well,
talking
this one in particular is from. It was actually created, if you will, or put into writing, or actually stated by Jack Mates back
about?
in the about 58 or 59. He's the
Oh,
CEO
okay.
of Velcro USA, and it was a guiding force for him and his team
Hmm.
and everybody he mentored after that, and then has since been written down as this particular formula in a couple of different types of books. And really, what it is P is for passion. Find what makes your heart sing,
Yeah,
flat
okay.
out. What makes your heart sing? T is talent. What is it that you excel in? And there's multiple things, so write them down. Now
Sure.
you add that passion with the talent. Now add in the first A, multiply it by your association. And that's why it's multiplied, because it's people, it's
Yeah, of course.
organizations, it is groups, okay, that are doing, they're successful,
Yeah,
right? That you can model, that you can learn from. So that multiplies the passion that's combined with the talent. And then you put it into the last step, which is action, taking
yeah,
concrete steps toward your goal. Now, what is said by Jack is that this is a formula for success. So the final is that it equals success.
hmm,
And yet, ultimately, what ends up happening because of this process is that you find your life's purpose if you didn't know it
hmm.
to begin. You end
Yeah.
up finding your life's purpose, and it comes together, and suddenly it's, wow, here I
I,
sit. This is
I
exactly what I
didn't.
should be doing.
Yeah, I didn't use that formula. I used something entirely different.
See, I
Um,
didn't use a formula when I started. I only
no,
recognized that I actually did this now that I see it in this format.
yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. I mean, what I did wind up using, and it is a formula. Um, it was something different. It was by a guy by the name of Rick Schnabel,
Yep.
who created a video which I believe the title is From Self Sabotage to Self Made Millionaire. Well, I'm certainly not at the self made millionaire, but the self sabotage is something I've been working through quite a bit. One of the big problems for me with that, like self sabotage, there's a thing that's been operating inside me ever since I was a kid, and it's caused all sorts of problems. Um, but some of these things that people call self sabotage, they are run by the unconscious mind. And when they are run like that, you can't access them in the normal way. You can't make changes with the conscious mind. You need to find a therapist who's really good with hypnosis or NLP, as I've been doing, and get that person to help you to dissolve what's going on
Yes,
inside you. And once that's dissolved, then you can really move forward. But until that changes, then you're going to wind up with all sorts of hangups that you really can't control.
I agree.
So people talk about dissolving limiting beliefs, but what they don't tell you is that a lot of these beliefs are on the unconscious level, and if they're on the unconscious level, you can work at it. You can pound away at it with a sledgehammer with the
Can't
conscious
do it
mind, but you
yourself.
won't touch it.
Yeah.
And
That's why I was saying that I did say it earlier, the importance of having outsiders help you.
yes, I have
Help you
them.
go
Thank
through
God.
this process. Sometimes it is deeper processes that must be gone through to get to the end. Sometimes you've already been through that, and now it's time to get a business coach or a
Yeah.
consultant to walk you
Well,
through putting it together. But
yeah.
yeah, when you're talking about the heart and the internal stuff, that's a big deal.
Yeah. If
Okay,
you wind
it
up
is
with
too
something
close
like
to the mic.
yeah, if you wind up with something like what I'm talking about, it's it's what they call imprinting. And imprints, you need somebody who is skilled with that kind of thing. Like, for example, like one of the major problems I had, and notice I say I had, was to do with the lifetime of bullying. And, I'm 57 now, and a while ago when I was talking with this guy, his name is Hamish Baston. He works with this organization that I'm now involved with to some degree. And we did a session using techniques of NLP, and he actually dissolved the emotional link to the trauma, and the end result is that it really doesn't bug me anymore. I mean, it comes up every now and then,
Right.
but it went from like a 3-alarm fire in the worst possible way, or however bad a
Like
fire
a guiding force on making your decisions, right? Had a huge
Yeah,
impact on any decision you made.
Yeah, it was really, really severe, and it dropped it so much that I would, if I were to describe it on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe 1/4%. That's how low it is. So
Nice.
it's a dramatic change. It's really helped
It
a
is.
lot. But then there's
Well,
this one lingering thing that I need to get help with, and hopefully once it's done, then see. It's interesting to talk about goals, because there was something I read on Facebook the other day, and I really wish I had copied it. But it had to do with Will Smith, and he was talking about when you set a really big goal, you're not the person that you need to be in order to attain that goal. You can't actually do it from where you are. You have to grow into it.
I love that. Yes, you
Yeah,
become the
and
person
what I
that's able
realized
to
is that
the
I'm
goal.
growing.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, so I'm growing into this big goal. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm well on my way. And so all these different things have to happen. Limitations of various kinds have to be released in one way or another, so that I can grow into the person I need to be to attain the goal. So,
Isn't that part of the how that many of us get stuck on? Isn't that part of the this is what I really want to do, but I can't because I don't know how? That will stop
no,
us?
it's not that. When you're dealing with something like what I'm talking about, you can get all the how-tos you want, but the limitation in the unconscious mind is going to stop you dead in your tracks.
Got it.
So I really want to jump in here, because I'm really excited about this subject, Nathan.
You can see him
hold on a
squirming.
second.
Yeah.
Let me just finish, and then you can jump in. And
Guys, I've only got
when I
a
was-
couple minutes.
Yeah, this is what I know, and I'm listening to you, Nathan, and you're talking about unconscious beliefs and shifting those and releasing those blocks so that you can be more. And I think there are multiple ways to do that, and I think there's multiple angles to accomplish that. You know, and you shared one that worked for you. I like Napoleon Hill because he shares basically auto-suggestion, repetition, and faith, which
that's not going to work here.
I know that's your perspective, Nathan. That's why I wanted to jump in. But what I was saying is that I believe I like to go from the result, right? And so if the result is you have let go of these beliefs, and I've seen it happen in different people in different ways. So what works? So when I say, because I don't ever say something works unless I've seen it work, right? And so what I'm getting at here is, I think there's multiple ways to shift it, and I think that it is necessary. So I just wanted to say
Start
that
from it has to shift. It has to change.
Oh yeah, I'm
has to
very
be
much
addressed.
aware of that. But
Yeah.
and I already know what we're going to do to shift it. We've already done it a couple of times before. The specific.
That's what I love about what you're talking about, though, Nathan, is
What?
because that going to a professional practitioner to get the guidance and to walk through can be the answer for some that have tried other methods.
Because I have tried everything else, and none of the other things work.
That's why I'm saying it, is that there are many options out there. And I wonder too, and I've only got 1 minute left.
I know.
But I do wonder if I guess there really isn't a solid answer. I'm looking for the one single answer as to who should go to a pro and who shouldn't, and there isn't one. There isn't one.
The answer is
it's our own personal. It's our own personal journeys. So ultimately, if nothing else is working for you, by gosh, find the pro. If
Right.
you're struggling and hitting that, if you've tried the other stuff,
Mhm.
absolutely go to a pro. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone to the professionals. I've gone to the licensed psychologists, and worked through some of my own stuff. I've had to. None of
Yeah.
this, I wasn't capable of doing it myself. I wasn't capable of doing it with a non-trained person.
Exactly
It
my
just
point.
wasn't.
I
So,
can't do it on my own. I've tried multiple different ways, and it doesn't matter what I do, it won't shift.
right.
But I do know from previous experience, like when we did this thing on the bullying, I remember thinking that this is fantasy. It'd be a really nice fantasy, but when it actually happened, it happened so fast, and I was on the other side of the problem before I even realized it was over. And I can't say that I became the person that I would have been without the bullying because I don't have a reference point. The bullying was a part of my life since I was,
Part of who you are. Yeah.
but what it did do is it dissolved the energy of it. And it was really weird because I wound up on a blab the night afterwards. And the host said to me, I'm going to call you a liar because you don't act like somebody who's been bullied. And then I told him about the process and he was just like, oh,
Love.
yeah, it was
love,
really
love
wild.
that.
It was really funny.
Okay. So I hate to do this because I love everything that you say, Nathan. You know I do.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
know.
at the I have to
Yeah.
shut this down because I have other people waiting for me
Got
in
it.
the 9 o'clock room. So please join us over there. Anybody interested on the professional side of growing your business, how to leverage audio for your business.
Got
You'll
it.
have some Q&A opportunity with her, as well as meet other professionals. Expand
Yeah.
your network, grow your business. So I want to thank you.
That looks awesome, and I just clicked the link and I'm installing it. I'll be there.
Terrific.
And thanks for the opportunity, Charlene.
Thank you for joining me in the live stream, Will. Thank you, Nathan, for some
Oh, my pleasure.
excellent
Nice to see you again, as
contributions.
always.
Always good to see you. Thank you for those in the comment area for being here, and for you watching the replay. Thanks so much for hanging with us this long. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouKnow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose, to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.